Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Lethu and thank you so much for tuning in. So if you're into personal growth and self-help content, this is the channel for you. Please do press that red subscribe button down below to join our family, and let's get into today's video. So firstly, I just want to wish you guys a happy new year. Let's hope 2021 will treat us a lot better than 2020 did. So as promised, I have a video for you guys based on this book, something that I learned in this book. It's called Atomic Habits by Cele. As you can see, it's all about building good habits and breaking bad ones. And because it's a new year and we're all thinking about, you know, the plans that we have for the year, the goals that we want to achieve, I thought it would be very fitting to create a video on exactly that. So today I'm going to be speaking about the difference between goals and systems, the importance of setting systems, and why we should be focusing more on systems instead of goals. So personally, this book has really changed my approach towards goal setting, my relationship with goals, and it's allowed me to develop a more long-term way of thinking and of going about things, which I'll get into a little bit later. It is filled with really practical examples on how you can apply the things that are mentioned in the book in real life. So once again, I highly recommend this book, especially if you're someone who is goal driven and you just really want to crush your goals. This is the perfect book for you because it helps you with developing good habits that will allow you to achieve those goals. So if you want to dig deep into this book and you want to learn more about this, definitely do check it out. I bought mine from Take-A-Lot, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box below so that you guys can purchase it as well. So we all have these really amazing goals that we set for ourselves, but the one mistake that we make is not having a good system in place, or not having any system at all in place. And having read this book, I now realize that that's maybe one of the main reasons why I could not achieve some of the goals that I set out for myself. And I would just, you know, set my goals, and I guess I just thought I'd figure it out along the way, which is not a good way of going about it, because not having a system for a goal is like not having a plan for your dreams. It's really, really important to have systems in place, but I'll get into the difference between systems and goals just a little bit later on. So we all want to make a lot of money, we want to, you know, have amazing bodies, we want to do all of these things, but we don't take the time to ask ourselves if we're willing to put in the work. We don't think to ourselves, are we willing to make the necessary sacrifices in order to get there? So it's important to ask ourselves questions such as, you know, do I really want the lifestyle that comes with this quest? Am I willing to go through that boring, ugly, long, and sometimes even painful process before that exciting and glamorous outcome? Am I willing to put in the work in order to achieve this goal? Those are really important questions because they are the determining factor of whether or not you're going to achieve those goals. It's very easy to sit around and think to ourselves, I could do this and I could do that, or I want to do that and I want to do that. But it's an entirely different thing to accept the compromises and the sacrifices that come with achieving that goal. And that's what's really important. We all want to win the award, we all want to be gold medalists, but very few of us are willing to work and train as hard as the people who end up achieving those goals and getting those awards. So goal setting is not only about choosing the rewards you want to enjoy, but also the cost you're willing to pay. So Scott Adam, who's the author of the book How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, defines a goal as a specific objective that you either achieve or don't sometime in the future. And a system is something that you do on a regular basis that achieves your odds of happiness in the long run. And then in the book Atomic Habits, goals are defined as the results that you want to achieve, while systems are about the processes that lead to those results. So to put it very simply, goals are more like your destination, while your systems are the journey. Your systems are the habits and the actionable steps that you have to take in order to get to that destination. So if, for example, you are a coach, your goal would be to win the championship, and your system would be what the team does every single day for practice. And to make this a bit more personal, I had the goal to read this year, and I'm not even going to say to read more because I honestly have not read for my own pleasure or for my own personal growth in years. So this year I wanted to read self-help books just to, you know, develop myself and improve my life. And one of the systems that I had in place in order to achieve this goal is to purchase a hard copy. So this sounds like it's nothing, but it actually is a game changer. You need to know yourself and you need to know how you operate and your preferences. So in the previous years, I would try to read PDF versions of the books or soft copies of the books, and it just would never work out for me. but ever since I started purchasing hard copies of the books, I don't know what it is, but there's just something about, having the book in your hands, flipping through the pages. That for me is satisfying, and it allows me to stick with this habit of reading. So that's a system that works for me. Another thing that I like to do is I place my book by my bedside. So this acts as a visual cue, and a visual cue is something that you can see that makes it obvious and reminds you to do something. So it prompts you to do something. So this just basically ensures that I don't forget, or I don't make an excuse to say like I forgot to read my book, because it was right there where I can see it every day or every night before I go to sleep. And the last system that I have is one that makes it easy for me to be consistent with this goal, which is to read at least 2 pages a day. So I set that rule for myself to just make it easy for myself. For days when I don't feel like reading, when I'm not in the mood, I know that reading 2 pages won't even take me 5 minutes. And to be honest, I've never ever actually just read 2 pages. I always end up reading way more than that. So it's important to make it easy for yourself as well to stick through with that habit. And those are just some of the systems that I have which have been helping me to be consistent with this goal. And I think next week I'll have a video on how to set goals and how to be consistent with them and actually achieve them. So keep an eye out for that video. So goals are useful in that they give you a sense of direction. They tell you where you're going. But unfortunately, they don't tell you how to get there. And that's where systems come into the equation. Your system will tell you how to get there because it gives you the actionable steps that you have to take in order to get to that destination. So the primary benefits of having a goal is that it tells you and it gives you an indication of the type of system that you need to have in place in order to achieve that goal. Because you can't have a how, you can't have a system without a goal. You can't know how to get somewhere if you don't know where you're going. So they work hand in hand in that way. Now let's get into the 4 reasons why we should be focusing more on systems instead of goals. The first reason is one of my favorites. It's what I mentioned earlier on when I said that this book has really allowed me to develop a more long-term way of thinking and of going about things. And the reason is that goals are at odds with long-term progress. So what this means is that if you are someone who is goal-oriented, it creates a yo-yo effect whereby you work towards something, you achieve it, and then you go all the way back to square one. So let's say, for example, your goal is to have a summer body. So you want to look amazing, you want to have abs for summer so you can take pictures in your bikini, and that's great. So you work towards that, you achieve that goal, but what happens is that you start losing that motivation as soon as you've achieved that goal. When it's time for winter, you go all the way back to eating unhealthy, not working out, being lazy, and so it takes you all the way back to where you started. Whereas if you're someone who's more focused on the system, it's no longer about a single accomplishment. It's more about the progress that you make in the long run. So you're more focused on feeling good and looking good for the rest of your life, or for as long as you can, not just for summer. That's the thing about focusing on systems. It's more about being in a cycle of endless refinement and self-improvement, because ultimately it's your commitment to the process in the long run that determines your progress. The purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. True long-term thinking is goal-less thinking. Winners and losers have the same goals. So when it comes to goals, we have 2 types of people. We have the winners, the people who accomplish their goals, the people who are successful with their goals. And then we have the losers, the people who don't achieve their goals. And we only hear from the people who do achieve their goals, the winners. And we look at them with so much admiration, and we think to ourselves that we should set the same goals in order to, enjoy the rewards. But we fail to realize that there are people out there who set the exact same goals as those people but could not achieve them. So basically, it's not the goal that differentiates the winners from the losers. It's the systems that they have in place. It's those small improvements that they make, or those habits that they set for themselves, that allows them to achieve a different outcome compared to the losers. So the goal in itself doesn't hold any weight. It's the system. If you have a good system in place to back up that goal, that is what will differentiate you from the losers. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. achieving a goal is a momentary change. So in the book, James Clear makes an example of setting a goal to clean your room. So let's say, for example, you have a really messy and untidy room and your goal is to clean it up, and you manage to summon the energy to clean up your room and you achieve that goal. So you have a clean room for that moment, but that change only lasts temporarily because you maintain your habits of not putting things back where they belong, of not doing your laundry in time, allowing your clothes to pile up, all of these bad habits. And so it takes you all the way back to step one, and you always have to summon that energy, or you always have to rely on that burst of motivation in order to clean this really messy and untidy room. But if you change your system and you change the input, the output will automatically change itself. So if you maintain a clean room, if you put things back where they belong, do your laundry in time, put your clothes where they belong, you won't have to always summon that energy to clean this really messy and untidy room. So basically, when you're more focused on the system, that changes your life because you will always have a clean room, or a relatively clean room anyway. So when you solve problems at the results level, you only solve them temporarily. In order to improve for good, you need to solve problems at the systems level. That's the third reason why it's more important to focus on the system instead of the goal. Goals restrict your happiness. So I spoke about this in one of my previous videos where I was just saying that I'm now at a point in my life where I am trying as best as I can to just follow my intuition and enjoy the journey, enjoy being in the moment, and not focus so much on achieving certain milestones and being at a specific point in my life. And it's all because this book really woke me up, and it showed me that having a goal first mentality is not a good way of going about life. Because when you're constantly thinking to yourself that you're waiting to be at a specific point in your life, or you're waiting to achieve a certain milestone in your life in order to be happy, you're always going to put off happiness because you're always going to be waiting for that thing. And I once had that mentality, and it's still a work in progress, but I always thought to myself that I'm just waiting to be fully independent in order to be happy. And I know that once I gain that independence, I'm going to look to the next thing. I'm going to want to build my own house. I'm going to want to buy my first car. And I'm going to think to myself that once I have my own house, I'll be happy. Once I have that car, I'll be happy. And so you can never really enjoy, being in the moment, and you can never really enjoy the journey because you're always looking to the next thing. So that's the problem with having a goal first mentality. And being focused, being obsessed and being focused on goals also has a downside, because goals create this either or conflict, whereby it's either you achieve a goal and therefore you feel good and you feel successful and you feel confident, or you don't, and so you feel disappointed in yourself and you feel like a failure. There's no middle ground about it. And whereas with systems, you can always be happy so long as your system is running. And what I love about system is that you don't have to wait for anything. So long as you're trying, so long as you're making an effort, you can always be satisfied with yourself. And systems are adjustable. You can change them, you can omit certain things, and you can always work towards making it fit your lifestyle and what you're comfortable with. So if something isn't working for you, you can change it. And just making that effort in itself is something that you should be satisfied with because you're trying. So those are the 4 reasons why it's important to focus more on systems instead of goals. And that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it was helpful. If it was, please let me know in the comment section below. And I want to challenge you guys to let me know in the comments below one goal you're going to be working towards in 2021 and one system you're going to implement in order to achieve that goal. Of course, let me know if you're comfortable. If you're not, it's totally fine. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone. I'm sure that it's going to be helpful to others, so share it with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe, and remember to never give up on the life you know you deserve. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.